The cold, handsome, and wealthy vice president lost his virginity overnight. What angered him was that the audacious woman who slept with him had run away. In the presidential suite, a man lay on the bed with a tall and muscular figure. His face was exceptionally handsome. Is this the man she had been married to for 2 years? She never expected him to be so young and handsome. Susie I bit her red lips, then reached out. She crawled on top of the man and started undoing his belt. At that moment, a hand with distinct knuckles grabbed her wrist. With a forceful pull, she fell directly onto the man's body. The man's hot breath fell on her face as he spoke in a deep, cold voice. Who are you? Susie's heart tightened. Her fingertips brushed his lips. Shoo, don't ask, I'm your wife. Finally, she directly kissed his mouth, kissing him tenderly and freely. Susie's hands were bold. She directly touched his chest. The man forcefully flipped her over, pressing her down. You asked for this. He fiercely kissed her neck. The next morning, Food Natching woke up to find that the audacious woman from last night had fled. He instantly became furious, his eyes filled with terrifying rage. She slept with him and sneaked away without any explanation. After a while, his subordinate hurriedly came in. President, we found out who the woman was last night. He dressed himself, his voice ice cold. Who was the madam? Fonaging asked, puzzled. What madam? 2 years ago, the elder madam arranged. Sue Shwe, the Sue family's daughter whom she married you to? Fu Nacking's gaze instantly darkened, looking murderous. He then turned and headed to Yew Garden. Meanwhile, Sue Shwe saw the marks all over her neck and immediately changed expression. How was it sleeping with my husband last night? Had a good time, didn't you? These were all left by her husband. They should have been hers, but she wasn't the bride. Her words hurt Susai. She looked up. I've completed the task you assigned. Can you release my grandmother now? Sushwe gritted her teeth and warned her. Keep last night's events to yourself. If you dare tell anyone about sleeping with my husband, your grandmother is dead. Funanching is now the head of the Fu family. Your role as my substitute is over. Now I'm going to reclaim my position as Mrs. Fu. Only then did Susai realize that the mysterious head of the Fu family was Food Natching. 2 years ago, Sushua despised him for being an illegitimate child and had Susai marry in her place. Now she wanted to be Mrs. Fu again. At this moment, Sushua raised her hand and wiped off the foundation on Susi's face. Soon a long, hideous scar was revealed. She asked if she understood. Susiai touched her face and softly said she did. In her heart, she mockingly called her an ugly monster. Suddenly, the maid ran in anxiously. Young madam, the young master is back. Sushwi gave Sushi a warning look. At that moment, the door opened and Fu Nanching walked in, wearing a custom-made suit that emphasized his superior and cold demeanor. Sushwi greeted him with beautiful enthusiasm. She coquettishly threw herself at him. Honey, you hurt me so much in the hotel room last night. Unexpectedly, Fu Nanking grabbed her wrist. Speaking with icy coldness, if you're tired of living, just say so. You dare to set your sights on me. Sue Shwe felt like her wrist was about to be crushed. She hurriedly explained, honey, it was the elder madam who urged us to consummate the marriage. She drugged me, I'm a victim too. Fu Nanking pressed his lips together in great displeasure. The elder madam again. Susai stood in an inconspicuous corner watching him nervously. She had heard that the Fu family's leader was ruthless and dominant in business, showing no mercy. If he found out that she was the one who slept with him, she would be doomed. Susai turned to leave. At that moment, Fu Nanshin keenly sensed something. He looked up and immediately spotted Susai. Stop right there, Susie's feet froze, her heart racing. Had he discovered something? Fu Nanshin came to stand before Susie. Who are you? Turn around. His oppressive aura was too overwhelming. Susie had no choice but to slowly turn around. Fu Nanching first saw those clear black and white eyes. His gaze instantly became sharp as knives. It's you. Susie's heart skipped a beat. Had he recognized her? The vice president had thought that night's woman was really his wife. He didn't expect it to be the little maid beside him. Fu Nanking kept staring at her, his gaze fixed. Under his stare, the bite marks on her neck seemed to burn. Seeing the situation turning awkward, Sue Shwe quickly spoke up. Honey, are you mistaking her for someone? This is Su Si, the new maid. Fu Nanking looked down at her, his composed demeanor masking a hint of investigation and boldness. The little maid met his gaze. Suzai felt nervous but calmly raised her head, deliberately showing the long scar on her right cheek. She displayed it fully before his eyes. Young master, you've mistaken me for someone else. I don't know you, I'm just a maid here. Fu Nanking slightly furrowed his brows. Indeed, this isn't the face. Then why were you running just now? Young master, I wasn't running, I was just heading to the kitchen to work. Fu Nanching stared at her for several seconds. The face he saw in the room was Cao Shui's, yet in front of Cao Shui he had mistaken a little maid. His voice turned cold. Go Cao Si turned and walked to the kitchen. Fu Nanching left Cao Shui and went upstairs. Sushua also entered the kitchen, furious. Sushua, I warn you, stay away from my husband. Sushua, I gave her a bland look. I can leave now if you want, but you must release my grandmother. Sushua shouted at her, the task isn't over. I've already said you're a maid here. My husband will be suspicious if he doesn't see you. You'll stay here as a maid. She smirked, then you'd better use everything you've got to secure your position as Mrs. Fu quickly. You surely don't want me staying here watching your embarrassment. Sushwa glared at her furiously, speechless. Suddenly she noticed, how could an ugly woman have such beautiful eyes? Why did she have features similar to her expensive, surgically enhanced face? The master had said the template was from a young girl he encountered on the streets of the capital. As Sushwa left, she smugly insulted, mind your own business, ugly monster. She instructed the servants to assign Susai the smallest maid's room and give her the dirtiest, most tiring work. She returned to the maid's room, sitting before the mirror. She looked at the long scar on her face. Staying here meant facing that man, but for her grandmother's sake, she had no choice. At least Fu Nanching didn't know her true appearance. Although she was the Su family's biological daughter, she had been switched at birth. After they found her, they despised her for growing up in the countryside, being unsophisticated, and having a scar refusing to officially acknowledge her. They only arranged for her to stay in the nanny's room, and during cold treatment, the Su family's second daughter, Su Shua, particularly enjoyed bullying her. When she wanted to return to the countryside, the Fu-Sa marriage alliance began. The Sa family took her grandmother hostage, forcing her to be a stand-in. She was controlled by others in every way. Sa-Si's bangs concealed the meaning in her eyes. She must rescue her grandmother. Fu Nanking returned to the master bedroom, took a cold shower, then put on black silk pajamas. He stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, taking a sip of red wine. A moment later, he put down the wine glass. He laid down on the soft bed. Sushwa had slept in this bed for 2 years. Fu Nanking caught a faint, intoxicating fragrance lingering on the pillow. He had smelled this fragrance last night too. Surprisingly, he had slept well. He had suffered from severe insomnia for years. But last night, he fell asleep. Was it because of Su Shui's fragrance? To verify this, Funanchin got up and went downstairs. Soon, he found that delicate figure in the living room. Su Ci was trimming flower stems and arranging them in a vase. Then steady footsteps approached from behind, coming to stop behind her. The next second, 2 large hands settled on her waist. Through the thin fabric, the man's broad and lean chest pressed against her from behind, holding her delicate form in his embrace. Su Ci trembled, her whole body freezing. Without turning, she knew it was food natching. Suddenly, his handsome face drew close, his voice low. Su Shua, why do you smell so nice? What perfume were you wearing? The handsome, tall vice president had a special preference. He didn't like his own wife, but rather the little maid beside him. He had mistaken her for Sushwei. Sushwei immediately turned around. Young master, you've mistaken me. I'm not the young madam. Just then, a maid's voice came from outside. Young madam, this way, please. Sushwei had arrived. Sushwei had arrived. Sushwei panicked. Her fingers were cut by the flower thorns. Fu Nanking finally realized he was holding the little maid, Natsu Shwe. He imperceptibly frowned his handsome brows. This was the second time he had mistaken her. She hurriedly pushed him away. Young master, let go of me. The young madam is coming. Fu Nanking watched her panic state. She seemed very afraid of him, always keeping her head down, afraid to meet his eyes. He asked softly, were you hurt, Susie? I finally looked up at him, somewhat slow and shy. It's nothing. Thank you for your concern, young master. She randomly grabbed her fair fingers, putting them in her mouth to stop the bleeding. Fu Nanching's eyes darkened, his gaze falling to her lips. Her cherry-like mouth was moist, naturally showing an alluring watermelon red. At this moment, Sushwi walked in, seeing Fu Nanching and Sushiai standing together. Her face changed dramatically as she immediately scolded Sushiai. What are you standing around for? Get to the kitchen now. Sushiai ran away quickly. Sushwi looked at Fu Nanching coquettishly. Honey, let's go have breakfast. In the kitchen, Sushiai studied her breathing and heartbeat. She had been terrified earlier, thinking Fu Nanching had recognized her. Fortunately, he had just mistaken her for someone else. Now she only wanted to rescue her grandmother and avoid unnecessary trouble. Outside, a servant ordered Susai. Take the milk out. She carried the milk to the dining room just in time to hear Su Shwa speaking ill of her. Honey, this Susai is from the countryside. Everyone avoids her ugly face. Only I was kind enough to keep her as a maid. Sushi showed no expression, she was used to it. Sushwei belittled her. She looked up at the man. Food Natching sat at the head of the dining table, reading a newspaper. He seemed not to hear what Sushwei was saying. During the day, Sushi went to school as a substitute. After school, she immediately left, standing by the road trying to hail a taxi to Yew Garden but couldn't get one here. Suddenly, a luxury car slowly stopped in front of her. The back window slowly rolled down, revealing Fuji's handsome face. Little clown, can't get a taxi, get in. I'll give you a ride. Susai hesitated but had to get in. Thank you. She opened the back door and got in. Fuyu introduced little clown. This is my uncle. Sushi. I looked toward the driver's seat. It was actually Food Nanching. She immediately regretted it. How could Food Nanching be Fuyu's uncle? What a coincidence. Uncle, this is my classmate Sushi. She's always had a crush on me. Today she even wrote me a love letter. Let me read it to you. Saying this, Fuyu took out a love letter from his pocket. Susai was stunned. When had she written Fuyu a love letter? It must have been classmates playing a prank, writing a love letter to Fuyu in her name. At this moment, Fuyu began reading the letter dramatically. Dear young Master Fu, I really like you so much. I like your sexy lips. Wanna kiss you? I like your six-pack abs. Wanna strip off your clothes? Although I'm ugly, I'm very gentle. Please let me be your girlfriend. Signed, Little Clown Susai. Susie, I looked up, instinctively glancing forward. Her eyes met Fu Nacking's in the rearview mirror. Susie's heart immediately raced. She dared not meet his gaze because when their eyes met, she remembered that night in the hotel room. His hands gripping her soft waist, the way he stared at her, Fuyu put his arm around Susie's shoulders. Little clown, I didn't know you liked me so much. All right, let's start dating. From now on, you're my girlfriend. Susie resisted the urge to kick Fuyu out of the car. Shut up. Fuyu Nacking's eyes were fierce and cold. He slammed on the brakes, his voice was extremely cold. Fuyu, get out, he asked confusedly. Uncle, I haven't reached my destination. Fuyu Nacking's face grew darker. He said word by word. If your legs aren't broken, walk. What does their dating have to do with him? What was he being awkward about? Fuyu was very afraid of his uncle. He let go of Susai. Little clown, see you tomorrow. I'll take you on a date tomorrow. Goodbye, uncle. After he got out, Fu Nanshan stepped on the gas and left. Now only the two of them remained in the luxury car. The man didn't speak. Susai sat very stiffly. Half an hour later, the car stopped at the entrance of Yu Garden. Fu Nanshan got out. He pulled Susai out of the car. In a very irritated tone, he warned her not to mess with his nephew. She was the most despised substitute in others' eyes. By day, an ugly, humble little maid. At night, removing her disguise, willingly becoming the lover of $1 trillion C. Fu Nanching returned to his room and lay in bed but couldn't sleep. The lingering fragrance on the bed had completely dissipated. Without it, his insomnia returned. Fu Nanching sat up, picked up the phone and made a call, asking the young madam to come upstairs. Downstairs, Su Shuet jumped with joy. She quickly found Sue's CI to boast, my husband wants me upstairs. Tonight I'll share a room with him. Sue's I showed no reaction. She said happily, come help me bathe. After bathing, Suchui took out a bottle of luxury perfume and sprayed herself generously. Are you jealous, Susei? Remember, you're just a lowly substitute. I'm the real Mrs. Fu. After saying this, she left arrogantly. Su Shwe entered the master bedroom and immediately pounced forward, saying coquettishly, honey, I'm here. Fu Nanchang had been waiting for Su Shwe, waiting for her scent, but when she pounced, she brought a pungent perfume smell. He immediately pushed her away. What's that smell on you? Why isn't it the bed's fragrance? Su Shuef froze at the mention of the bed's fragrance. She hadn't slept in this bed yet, it was Su Si who had. He wanted Su Si scent. Fu Nanchang narrowed his dangerous eyes. Perhaps the person sleeping in this bed wasn't you? Oh no, he was about to find out. She quickly made up a lie. It was me. I just took a flower petal bath, it covered up the scent. Fu Nanchang was very angry. What are you waiting for? Go shower quickly. I want the original scent. Otherwise, you can forget about being Mrs. Fu. Sushui felt his mood was very bad today and hurriedly ran out. Had someone upset him? Sushui was preparing for bed when she saw Sushui enter with a gloomy face. Why are you back? Did Fu Nanchang kick you out? Sushui reluctantly ordered. Sushui, tonight you go sleep with my husband. Hearing this, she froze in silence for several seconds before slowly speaking. Your husband called for you to accompany him. I won't go. Su Shuet cursed loudly. You think I want you to go? If it weren't for your seeing her refusal, she had to use her trump card. She took out her phone to show her a video. Think carefully, Su Si, your grandmother seems to care about you a lot. She calls your name every day. Susie became very anxious upon seeing her grandmother. She had no reason to refuse, she could only agree, fine, I'll go. Susie revealed a triumphant smile. She demanded that she absolutely must not let her husband touch her, and must leave before 6 a.m., not allowed to sleep with her husband 1 minute longer. Susie lowered her eyes and softly said, I understand. She smirked, hurry and cover up those scars on your face. Don't scare my husband again. Sushi went to the maid's room, wiping off the ugly scars on her face. It felt comfortable to remove the makeup, but she had to be careful not to let them discover it. Sushwa repeatedly threatened her with her grandmother. It seemed she needed to quickly find an opportunity to discover where her grandmother was. Fu Nanking lay in bed, very irritated. That little maid with such innocent eyes actually could write such a love letter to seduce his nephew. Susai walked out and came to the master bedroom. She thought after that night they wouldn't cross paths again, but now she had to pretend to be Suj and sleep with him. Susai carefully climbed into bed, sleeping on the other side, keeping far away from him. Fu Nanking opened his eyes and looked at the figure lying beside him. He said displeased, "Why sleep so far away? Come sleep in my arms." Susai moved, inching closer to him. He directly grabbed her hand. Pulling her into his arms, he caught that pleasant fragrance. This was exactly the scent. He asked, "Last time you didn't tell me what perfume you use." Sushi blushed and answered truthfully, "I don't use perfume." Funenching played with her hair and chuckled, "You mean this is your natural scent?" She shyly buried her head. "That's not what I meant," young master Funenching frowned. He quickly grabbed her chin, forcing her to look up. Only that little maid called him young master. Sushi's heart skipped a beat. She was so nervous she forgot to change her form of address. She hurriedly explained, "I'm just nervous." "It's my first time sleeping with you." He curved his thin lips. "Weren't you bold enough when you climbed on top of me that night?" "Then what should you call me?" Very embarrassedly, Susai called out husband. If Funenching knew she was that little maid, what would his reaction be? He kept holding her waist as if afraid she'd run away. In a deep voice, "Sleep now," Sushi softly replied, good night." She was an ugly monster in others' eyes, yet had to be a substitute, sleeping with a $1 trillion CEO. Susai opened her eyes early in the morning. Looking at the time, it was already 6 o'clock. Oh no, Sushue told her to leave before 6, not to sleep a minute longer. She was late. She moved to get up, but Funaking's strong arm was wrapped around her slim waist. "Why are you up so early? Stay and sleep with me a while longer." He had always suffered from insomnia, but surprisingly slept so well holding her. He wanted to hold her and sleep a bit more. Sushi dared not sleep anymore. She immediately broke free from his arms and stood up. "I'll get up first, you sleep more." Food Nanching frowned slightly, not understanding why she left so quickly as if in a hurry. She wouldn't even stay when he asked her to sleep with him longer. When Sushi came out after fixing the scars on her face, she saw Sushwi with a gloomy expression. Sushwi scolded her, "Sushi, why did you sleep with my husband 5 minutes longer? Was his embrace too warm that you couldn't bear to leave?" Sushi felt like her thoughts were exposed. "If you're so worried, then don't let me sleep with your husband next time." It was lucky she ran away quickly. She almost didn't have time to apply makeup. Sushwi was about to explode with anger. But she had more important things to do. "What perfume did you spray?" Hand over the perfume. Why did both Food Nanching and Sushwi ask about what perfume she used? Sushi raised an eyebrow and took out a bottle of perfume. Sushwi grabbed it. It was CC perfume. This bottle was empty, just an empty container. This meant she had to buy this perfume to be able to sleep in Fu Nanching's bed. Sushwa's face turned vicious as she raised her hand to slap Sushi's face. "You ugly monster, what perfume? Using CC perfume on you is just a waste." As the slap came, Sushi caught Sushwa's wrist. She smiled carelessly. "Oh, so it's not a waste when you use it? Then why don't you go buy it, such a luxury brand?" Sushwi and her mother couldn't get it for so long. This country bumpkin probably bought a fake one. Sushwi wanted to explode. But at this moment, from the corner of her eye, she saw the master bedroom door open. Funanching walked out. She smiled strangely. "Sushi, are you mocking me for not being able to buy it?" Then she let out a scream, stumbling back several steps. "Sushi, why did you push me?" At this time, a tall, straight figure walked over. "Standing in front of Su Shwe, who told you to raise your hand?" Seeing Su Shwe change her expression and act out a falling scene, Susi guessed what was happening, just as she met Fu Nanching's cold, misty gaze. He faced her, his eyes completely devoid of warmth. He uttered 2 words, "Apologize." Susi said firmly, "I didn't push her, she's acting, I won't apologize." Sushua weakly grabbed Fu Nanching's sleeve, pitifully saying, "Husband, he grabbed me and then pushed me." His gaze was like knives, his magnetic voice becoming even colder. "While I'm still willing, I'm giving you a chance. Apologize now." She actually had expectations from Fu Nanching. She was just Sushua's substitute. To Fu Nanching, she was just a stranger. Now Sushua hid behind Fu Nanching, showing a malicious victor smile. Susai was silent for a few seconds, walked to Su Shwe's front and forcefully pushed her. Accompanied by a scream, Su Shwe fell to the ground unexpectedly. "Susai," I looked down at her. "Young madam, this time I really did push you, sorry about that." After saying that, she turned and left directly. Funajing hadn't expected this reaction from Susai. Looking at the girl's cold and stubborn figure, his eyes deepened. She turned back to look at him once. "Young master, I've already apologized. I'm going down to work now." Sushui trembled with anger, getting up awkwardly. Husband, he's just a maid, how dare he treat me like this? You must stand up for me. Fu Nanking's face turned ugly, his voice very cold. Sushui, don't bring such clumsy acts to me in the future. Sushui was mortified, he knew. Then why did he still? Fu Nanking showed no emotional fluctuation. I helped you just now because I was satisfied with your performance last night. Come to my room again tonight. She stood frozen. After just one night, Su Ci was about to steal Naching's heart. If he was exposed, even the position of Mrs. Fu couldn't be kept. No, Fu Nanqing must not know. Sushui immediately took out her phone and called her mother, crying, Mom, quickly help me get a bottle of CC perfume. That's how Sushui seduced him. On the other end, she laughed, Sushui, don't worry. I've already asked someone to buy the perfume. As for Sushui, your father and I plan to marry her off. Hearing this, she smirked. Marriage, the woman chuckled, we have connections with young Master Sunday. He can help us establish connections with CC perfume. Your father and I have prepared generous gifts for SUSI to deliver. So while at school, SUSI received a call from Leland. Leland invited her to Cloudley Hotel to discuss her grandmother's matter. She wanted to see what these mother and daughter were up to. She curved her red lips. She sent a text to Su Shua, I forgot my room card. Bring it to me quickly, I can't get in otherwise. He was an ugly duckling in everyone's eyes. Little did they know, the billionaire CEO was gradually drawn to him. After school, Su Ci took a taxi straight to Cloudley Hotel. Half an hour later, she arrived at her destination and walked into the hotel. At this time, Fu Nanking's car was parked on the roadside and he happened to see her. He and Secretary Song walked in and saw his little maid, Su Ci, and her room 809. He couldn't help but frown. Then a man followed her in. Fu Nanking asked who that man was. Secretary Song reported quietly, CEO, that man is Sung Quan. He has a bad reputation and peculiar habits. They say 2 of his wives have died. Secretary Song couldn't quite figure out what his CEO was thinking. He felt that the CEO seemed to have special thoughts about this little maid. CEO, should we remove young Master Sun? Fu Nanking's handsome face, lit by the flickering lights, was inscrutable. He quickly replied coldly, no need. He went in by himself, no one forced him. Suse heard footsteps, turned around, and saw the leering Sung Quan. Who are you? He smiled wickedly. I'm Sung Quan, beautiful, you're the generous gift from the Su family. He lunged at Suse, but she quickly dodged. She smiled, thankful she was prepared. She revealed her entire face, half of which had obvious scars, terrifyingly ugly. Sun Quan was furious upon seeing this. You ugly monster. Where did you come from? The Su family sent me this kind of goods. Su Ci remained very calm. Young Master Sun, don't be angry, there must be some misunderstanding. I may be ugly, but my sister is he city's greatest beauty. She must be your intended bride. Look, here she comes now. Just as she finished speaking, the door opened and Su Shuel walked in. Su Ci, are you stupid? You forgot your room card and made me bring it to you. When Sun Quan saw Su Shwe, his lecherous eyes immediately lit up with excitement. He rushed over, bride, you've finally come. Su Shwe was stunned. Young Master Sun, what are you doing? Let me go. Su Ci is your intended bride. She shouted, Su Shwe, shut up. You mean the Su family wants to marry me? An ugly country girl to young Master Sun? What do you take young Master Sun for? Sun Quan forcefully pushed her onto the bed, laughing happily. Now your Su family won't dare trick me. Sushwi, beautiful, come play with me. Sushwi was terrified. It should have been Sushiai who was sent to the bed. How did it become her? Young Master Sun, let me go. No, Sushiai, save me, save me. Amidst Sushwa's cries for help, Sushiai walked out. Sushwi, only you, E-City's greatest beauty, are worthy of young Master Sunday. She firmly closed the door. Suddenly her phone dinged, she opened it to look. It was actually a message from Fuyu, little ugly girl. I finally found you. A few seconds later, Fuyu called, Susai didn't answer. She thought Fuyu was joking. Why did he keep calling to harass her? She must not get involved with this uncle and nephew again. But at this moment, a familiar figure approached from ahead. Fuyu had actually followed her. Susai was speechless. There was nowhere to hide now. She could only push open the door of a presidential suite next to her and quickly hide. But Fuyu also headed straight for this presidential suite, shouting, Uncle, uncle. Only then did Sushii realize. This couldn't be Fu Nanqing's room, could it? She scanned the spacious room, then ran to the bed and dove under the covers. Fu Nanqing walked out of the bathroom, his deep, displeased voice rang out, Fuyu. Why are you yelling? It really was Fu Nanqing. Sushi could tell just from his voice. So to avoid Fuyu, she had hidden in Fu Nanqing's bed. The ugly girl, to avoid an ordinary person, had actually climbed into the billionaire CEO's bed. Fuyu complained, Uncle, I heard you married Yi City's greatest beauty, Xiaoshui. Such big news and you didn't tell me? I want to meet my new aunt. As Fu Nanking prepared to get into bed, he lifted the covers. Fine, come home for dinner in a few days. Fu Nanking keenly sensed something was wrong. Someone was hiding in his bed. He narrowed his eyes. He reached out and lifted the covers. Susie's small face with its long scar suddenly appeared in his view. It was actually his little maid. Fu Yu couldn't see inside from his angle. He took out his phone, puzzled uncle. Have you seen Susie? She's at the Cloudly Hotel today too, but I can't find her. Her phone's not connecting either. Fu Nanking smirked. I see her right now in my bed. Facing Fu Yu's inquiry, Susie looked up. Her clean, bright eyes gazed at him pleadingly, shaking her head. Don't give me away, just let me hide for a while. Fu Nanking thought, dream on, and was about to grab her off his bed and throw her out. In this critical moment, Susie lunged forward. She grabbed onto the man's strong legs. Her soft body, suddenly pressing against him, made Fu Nanking shudder violently. His straight back pressed against the headboard. His prominent Adam's apple bobbed twice quickly. His damn body inexplicably generated a wave of heat. Sushi clung tightly to him like a little water snake. At this moment, Fuyu looked up from his phone. Uncle, why aren't you saying anything? Have you seen Sushi? That ugly girl. Fu Nanshin quickly covered Sushi with the blanket, not letting his nephew see what was under it. He shook his head. No, then I'll go look elsewhere. Goodbye, Uncle. Fuyu left. Now only the two of them remained in the room. Fu Nanching lifted the covers, angrily saying, had enough hugging. Let go, Sushi. I had never been so embarrassed. She quickly released him and opened her mouth to explain, but her long hair had caught on his bathrobe button. She was pulled back again. Fu Nanking's handsome face darkened completely, gritting his teeth. His handsome jaw rolled out ominous words. Susai, are you doing this on purpose? This ambiguous position made Susai's little face burn like fire. Her heartbeat immediately went out of control. I'm not. My hair is caught on your button. I'll get it off right now. Fu Nanqing felt her small hands brush against his body. Even through the fabric, he felt electricity cores through everywhere she touched, striking straight to his heart. Susai, where are you touching? Susai panicked completely. Her hands becoming clumsy. I won't touch. Can you help me get my hair off? He reached out roughly and yanked her hair free from his button, then threw back the covers and got off the bed, roaring, get off my bed. Susie, I quickly got off the bed and stood before him, hurriedly explaining, young master, I didn't know this was your room. I was just following what you said, hiding from your nephew when I came in. Before she could finish, Food Natching interrupted, I told you to stay away from my nephew, not to come seduce me. Susie, I immediately denied. I didn't. Fu Nanking reached out and gripped her chin. He teased, still denying it. You just want to get a room with Sun Quan, didn't you? Susie, I stiffened. So he had seen her with Sun Quan just as she was about to explain. That was because, but Fu Nanking didn't want to hear her explanation. Leading on my nephew while getting rooms with Sunquin and now climbing into my bed, Susie, do you even know what shame is? Susie looked at him, suddenly curling her red lips. If I'm seducing you, why are you so angry? Could it be that you're actually seduced? The ugly girl actually dared to forcefully kiss the billionaire CEO, Fanenching. What are you saying? Susie raised her eyebrows, her bright eyes exuding a hint of charm. Isn't it true, the way you're acting now? You're just angry because you can't accept being seduced by someone like me. Fu Nanking's eyes suddenly darkened. He reached out and grabbed her slender neck. Susie, are you asking for death? She couldn't breathe fresh air, the feeling of suffocation growing stronger. She didn't want to die like this. She still had many things to do. Fu Nanchin glared at her viciously, showing no sign of letting go. Suddenly Susie thought of something. She immediately leaned forward and kissed his thin lips. Fu Nanching froze. She actually forced a kiss on him. He wanted to push her away, but her lips were clean, soft, and sweet, fragrantly intoxicating. Taking advantage of his distraction, Susai pushed him away and retreated several steps. Fu Nanching's face was dark with anger. He felt he must be crazy to think that this flirtatious little maid could be that girl from that night. That girl was Sushui, not her. He warned harshly, this is the last time. If you dare climb into my bed again, you won't see tomorrow's sun. He grabbed some tissues and wiped his lips. Even if I were to like someone, Food Natching would only like beautiful women. Don't dream on. I have no interest in you. His cold, heartless words crashed down heavily. Sushi, I said nothing. Who cares if he's interested? Then she turned and left directly. Susie, I went to the bathroom and washed her face with cold water. It didn't matter if Fu Nanching hated her. They had no relationship anyway. Once she rescued her grandmother, she would disappear from his sight. Then she walked out of the Cloudly Hotel, trying hard to forget everything that just happened. At this moment, Fuyu ran over from ahead. Ugly girl, so you're here? I've been looking everywhere for you. This persistent Fuyu had found her. It seemed her earlier hiding was in vain. She looked at him coldly. Young Master Fuyu, did you need something? Fuyu smiled. Do I need a reason to find my girlfriend? Come on, let's go on a date. She explained, young Master Fuyu, I didn't write that love letter. I don't like you. I won't be your girlfriend. Susie, I wanted to leave. But at this moment, Fuyu's eyes widened, looking at her in complete shock. Ugly girl. Your face, my god, Susie, you're so beautiful. Why do you pretend to be ugly? At this moment, a tall and straight figure walked out of the Cloudly Hotel. It was Fu Nankam. Fuyu immediately spotted his uncle and shouted loudly, Uncle, uncle, quick, look at Sushi's face. Sushi quickly hid behind him, not letting Fu Nankam see her face. Young Master Fu, please don't tell anyone about my disguise, especially you. Why, Fuyu asked, confused, because the reason is very complicated. Young Master Fu, please help me keep this secret, don't tell anyone. Seeing Sushi's serious expression, Fuyu nodded in agreement. All right, I promise to keep your secret, but you have to agree to one thing for me, he hesitated. It's nothing, Fuyu was overjoyed, be my girlfriend. This person was taking advantage of the situation, she quickly refused. No, I already said I don't like you, don't waste your time on me, I have to go now. She looked up and saw Fu Nanking's dark eyes staring at her. She had no choice but to continue hiding behind Fu Yu. Seeing this scene made him even angrier. He strode towards them. Fu Yu smiled, then give me a chance. Be my girlfriend for 1 month. After a month, if you still haven't fallen for me, I'll leave you alone. If she didn't agree, everything would be exposed. Fine, I agree. The handsome, wealthy vice president despised her as a lowly maid. Little did he know she was the boss behind the scenes. Susai quickly applied makeup behind him. At this time, Fu Nanking walked over. Fu Yu, what are you shouting about? What's wrong with Susai's face? He lied without blinking. Oh, I wanted you to see how ugly Susai is. She's even uglier today than yesterday. Haha, Susai finished applying her makeup. She walked out from behind him. Fuyu laughed loudly. Ugly girl, don't be shy. Come to me, uncle, uncle. The ugly girl has officially agreed to date me. Susai felt Food Notching's cold. Sharp gaze fall on her, almost piercing holes through her. She had just gotten off his bed. And now she was his nephew's girlfriend. No wonder he thought she was a shameless woman. At this moment, Secretary Song reminded quietly, President, the meeting starts in half an hour. We should return to the company. Food Nanching withdrew his gaze and turned to leave. Fuyu was very happy today. I'm very loyal, right? I didn't reveal anything about your matter. Let's go on a date. I'll treat you to a movie. Susai refused. No thanks, young Master Fu. I don't want to watch a movie. I'm leaving first. After saying that, she turned and left. Fu sighed. Why does she keep leaving me alone? Just as she left, a melodious phone ring sounded. Leland was calling her. Susai pressed the button and answered. Susiai, come home right now. She hung up immediately. As soon as Susiai entered the living room, she heard Su Shwe's crying, you must help me get justice. Mom, she definitely did it on purpose. Susiai stood quietly to the side watching them perform. Leland immediately stood up and accused, raising her hand in the air. Susiai, you're so vicious. You actually tricked your sister into going to Sun Quan's place. Do you know what kind of person Sun Quan is? She was about to strike down. Susai grabbed her hand and smiled gently. So mom knows what kind of person Sun Quan is. I thought you didn't know. At this moment, Su Changran walked in with a gloomy face. Leland asked, husband, what did young Master Sun say? Su Changran was very angry. What else could he say? Young Master Sun had already helped us deliver the bid to CC Perfume. We were just about to formally cooperate, but now Sao Shui has cracked young Master Sun's head. If it were you, would you still want to be the middleman? Sao Shui felt wronged. Dad, Mom, I'm the victim. This is all Sao Shui's fault. Sao Shingrong scolded, even if you grew up in the countryside without guidance. You shouldn't behave like this. Do you know how important young Master Sun and CC are to our Su family? She sneered, I didn't know before, but now I do. For cooperation with CC, you're willing to sell your daughter. You're a Su family daughter. When the Su family prospers, won't you benefit too? You should contribute to the family. Susai smiled coldly, I'm a Su family daughter, but aren't Su Chinro and Su Shwedu? Why don't they make this contribution? Lailan angrily said, Susai Shwe's marrying Fu Nanking. How can she contribute? And Chinro has high education and perfume-making talent. She's been studying in France for years. She's always been the Su family's hope. I never thought you'd be so selfish, only thinking about making others contribute. Su Shua cursed loudly. Susiai, our family raised you, paid for your grandmother's medical treatment with your face. Being able to attract Sunquin is already lucky, don't be ungrateful. Susai stood straight with her slender waist. I wanted to contribute to the Su family, but unfortunately I'm just an ugly country girl. Young Master Sun doesn't like me, I can't help you. After speaking, Susai turned and left directly. Su Changran was so angry his chest hurt. After the rebellious Susai left the Su house, she took out her phone and sent a message, returned Su's bid documents. Soon the other end replied, yes, boss. Then she left the place swaggeringly. Soon Su Changran received a phone call that made his face change dramatically. Leland was a bit panicked, husband. What's wrong? He gritted his teeth and said word by word, CC perfume. They returned all our bid documents. The handsome, wealthy vice president mistook the little maid for his wife, bullied her severely, possessed her. Leland collapsed onto the sofa. What should we do now? The atmosphere was heavy. At this time, Su Chanran remembered something. SHWE, how are things with Fu Nanchin? When will he finally make public our family's relationship? Speaking of this, Su SHWE became hesitant, not very smooth, but soon. Once I get CC perfume, Su Changrong slammed his fist heavily on the table, useless. Can't even handle such a small matter. If you were more capable, I wouldn't need to beg others. They would be the ones begging us. Leland protected Su SHWE. Changrong, give SHWE more time. Su Changrong's face was gloomy. I can give her time, but don't mess things up. Su SHWE. Don't forget how this marriage came about. Su SHWE's face turned pale. Yes, father, I will make Fu Nanking publicize our family's relationship as soon as possible. 2 years ago, she took a jade pendant from Su Si's room. The Fu family happened to see this jade pendant and agreed to the marriage alliance. But at that time, Fu Nanking was still an illegitimate son. Zhezhui didn't want to marry him. Who could have imagined Fu Nanking would become the Fu family's power holder? She had to secure her position as Mrs. Fu before he discovered everything. At Yu Garden, Su Si was preparing to go to bed. Su SHWE walked in with an extremely dark expression. Su Si, tonight you'll continue to accompany Fu Nanking. What? Still need to sleep with Fu Nanqing? Is he a child who needs company every day? Seeing no response, Su Shui threatened. Just go when I tell you to. Don't forget your grandmother is still in my hands. Thinking of her grandmother, Su Si's eyes flickered. Fine, your husband's embrace is so comfortable. I'll go sleep there again for you. She turned and left after speaking. Su Shui felt immediate resentment, envy, and jealousy. As Mrs. Fu, she hadn't even slept in Fu Nanqing's embrace yet. Fu Nanqing took off his suit and went to the shower. Cold water splashed down from above, hitting his solid muscles. He closed his handsome eyes, silently taking the cold shower. His mind was filled with that small face with a long scar. She actually ignored his warning and really dated his Xiaoji. Would she use the same seductive techniques on Xiaoji? Use them again. Funcheng came out wearing black pajamas. He saw Susai lying on the bed. As soon as he got in bed, he caught the sweet fragrance from the girl's body, slowly tempting his senses. Susie opened her eyes and stared at him. Seeing his handsome brow constantly furrowed, she quietly asked, "What's wrong? Did someone make you angry? Is it that Susie?" He shouted at her, "Don't mention her." Indeed, it was because of her. Do you hate her that much? Funinching realized his tone was harsh and reached out to touch her face. I just don't want to talk about these annoying things. Did I scare you? Susai shook her head, then raised her small hand to smooth his furrowed brow. It's late, let's sleep. I don't want to sleep yet. Susai asked him, then what do you want to do? Fu Nanking's eyes fixed on her red lips, growing passionate. What do you think? After speaking, he leaned down and directly kissed her alluring red lips. Time stood still at that moment. Sushi couldn't even hear her own heartbeat. She stared straight at the man who suddenly kissed her, momentarily forgetting to react. After a few seconds, she came to her senses. She was only here to sleep, not prepared to do such things for Sushi. Sushi began to struggle, her small hands pushing against his solid chest. No, let me go. His body was hard as rock, immovable as he held her. Sushi had to bite his lip corner hard. Fu Nanking felt the pain and released her. He wiped his bitten lip corner. What does this mean? Sushi thought quickly and covered her stomach with her hand. I'm not rejecting you, I'm on my period. It's not convenient. Fu Nanking looked suspicious. Really? Sushi nodded vigorously, looking at him with complete sincerity. Of course it's true, Fu Nanking finally believed her. His large hand fell on her flat stomach, gently massaging her belly. Does it hurt? Susie obediently answered. No, at this moment, his low, sexy voice came from above. Your period shouldn't affect kissing, right? His tall figure pressed down again, once more capturing her red lips. The trillion-dollar CEO only likes his wife at bedtime. He doesn't like the coquettish wife during the day. Fu Nanking stared at her intently. Her bright eyes were startled after being kissed, glistening with tears like a frightened deer. This pure innocence was incomparable. His eyes turned crimson at the corners as he asked hoarsely, never been kissed before. Susai was too embarrassed to answer. Except for that night, she had never been intimate with any other man. Fu Nanking's lips curved up, relax, I won't hurt you. After speaking, he kissed her again. Susai clearly felt that this time he became gentler. He softly pressed against her red lips, being extremely patient with her, kissing for who knows how long. Finally, he released her. The girl's black hair spread out on the white pillow. Her face flushed and fair, features as delicate as a painting. Looking just like a little enchantress, Fu Nanking turned to his side, held her in his arms, and softly said, "Sleep now." The next morning, Susai left the master bedroom before 6 a.m. She applied the scar on her face and started working. At this time, Sushwa walked over with a gloomy face. "Is my husband awake? No, I told him I was on my period last night. Remember not to slip up?" Sushwa immediately caught the key point. "Why did you say that? Did he try to touch you last night? You must have seduced him, you shameless woman." Sushi continued working with a cold expression, not answering the question. She just glanced at her. "So why do you let this shameless woman sleep with your husband?" Sushwe knew Sushi was quick-witted. She could never win against her in verbal sparring. Suddenly, Sushwe thought of something. Fu Nanqing wasn't awake yet. She could order Susai to enter the master bedroom in 10 minutes. To collect his clothes from yesterday, seeing Sushwe's calculating smile, Susai knew she was plotting something again. Sushwe quickly went upstairs and pushed open the master bedroom door. Fu Nanking wasn't awake yet. This was her chance. She tiptoed to the bed and laid down, slowly moving closer to him. But before she could touch him, Fu Nanking alertly opened his eyes, his hawk-like gaze shooting straight at her. "What are you doing?" Sushwe felt guilty. "Husband, I came to sleep with you." Fu Nanking sat up and said coldly, "Get down. Tell Joe to change all the bedding. Don't get on my bed during the day anymore." Sushwa's face turned pale with fear. At this moment, the master bedroom door opened and Sushwa appeared. Sushwa immediately pulled down one shoulder strap of her slip dress, exposing her fair shoulder, then coquettishly threw herself into Fu Naoqing's arms. "Husband, you're mean, I'm still not feeling well." Fu Naoqing frowned at this sudden embrace. He turned his head toward the door, where Susie's small face with the long scar came into his view. She stood at the door, clearly not expecting to see this scene between him and Su Shuir in bed. She froze for a moment. Fu Nanking's mood worsened. "Get out," the words were chillingly harsh. "What manners have you learned, opening the master's door as you please?" "Get out." Susie turned and ran. She thought to herself as if she wanted to see this. It was absolutely ice-searing. In the living room, she heard Fu Nanqing yell angrily, "You get out too, do it again and you'll lose your hands." Susie laughed mockingly. He was nothing special after all. Susie came up to Susie and said smugly, "Now you see reality." "No, why my husband was so angry, because you interrupted our intimate moment." Susai remained expressionless. So this was why Sushwe told her to go up in 10 minutes to see their loving couple act, crossing her arms. She mocked, "Not only did I see it, I also heard your husband tell you to get out too." Just as Sushwe was about to explode, Fuyu's voice rang out, "Uncle, uncle, are you up?" Sushwe immediately went to greet him. "Young Master Fu, why are you here?" Fuyu's eyes lit up. "Little clown, why are you at my uncle's house? Hey, where's your scar? Why aren't you playing ugly today?" Hearing this, I knew Fu, you had mistaken Sushwi for her. After all, their faces were identical. She was about to speak, but then a deep voice came from upstairs. "What playing ugly? Fuyu, what are you talking about?" Sushi's heart skipped a beat. Oh no, the trillion-dollar CEO finally noticed something was wrong. He directly questioned the little maid. "Why is your face identical to Sushwa's?" Fu Nanking looked very seriously at Fuyu. "Why did you mistake them just now?" Fuyu stammered, unable to say a word. Fu Nanking's gaze fell on Sushi's face. His deep eyes narrowed slowly. He hadn't noticed before that Sushi's unscarred left side looked very similar to Sushwi. He coldly ordered Sushi. "Come here." She came before Fu Nanking. "What do you need?" "Young master." Fu Nanking pulled her over, then covered her scar with his hand. Her clear, beautiful face was revealed. Indeed, it was identical to Sushwe's. His dark gaze became dangerous like a deep abyss. "Tell me, why is your face identical to Sushwe's?" Sushwe immediately explained, "Husband, she got plastic surgery to look like me. That scar is from a failed surgery." Fu Nanking looked at Sushi. "Is that so?" Sushi could only agree. He stared at her silently and said something that made her heart pound. "Have you deceived me about anything?" Like covering up the scar to impersonate Sushi broke into a cold sweat. He was getting suspicious. She tried to stay calm. He still didn't know her scar was fake. Looking up, she said, "Young master, even if I covered the scar with foundation, it wouldn't hold up to close inspection. You can't fool someone who shares your bed." These past 2 nights, the girl sleeping in his arms wore no makeup. Her face was clean, soft, and flawless. Fanajing left with a threatening warning, "You'd better not deceive me or you'll regret it." Then he turned and left. Once his overwhelming presence was gone, everyone sighed in relief. That was close, so close. Fanajing almost discovered the truth. Fo stepped forward. "Little clown, why are you working as a maid at my uncle's? I'll double your salary if you come be my exclusive maid." Sushwe crossed her arms and mocked, "Young Master Fu, why would you want someone like Sushi who got plastic surgery?" Just because she calls you young uncle, she really thinks she's somebody. I think you're the plastic surgery freak. Sashway grated her teeth in jealousy. She didn't know when Susai had managed to hook this young master of the Fu family, he smiled at Susai. How about it, little clown? Come with me, young master will take care of you, I have plenty of money. Just then Fu Naking's deep, displeased voice rang out. Fu, you come back, you're coming to the company with me, I want to see how your finance and management studies are going. Fu Yu immediately wailed. No, uncle, then I'll tell your father to cancel all your credit cards. What, cancel my credit cards, but I have plenty of money? Fuyu was stunned by his uncle's threat. Fine, I'll go to the company with you. Fuyu looked reluctantly at Susai. Little clown, I'll play with you next time. Finally, uncle and nephew left. Just then her phone dinged with a message. It was from an unknown number. Break up with Fuyu immediately. From these simple, domineering words, Susai knew it was from Fu Nanching. Go tell that to your nephew. She only wanted to save her grandmother, no time for their drama. She looked at Sue SHWA. Tell me, where have you hidden my grandmother? She smiled smugly. Don't dream that I'll tell you. Susai took out a photo from yesterday at the hotel. It showed Sun Quan pressing Su Shua down on the bed. Su Shua's face changed drastically. When did you take that? Give me the photo, quickly. She reached out to grab it. Susai easily dodged a sight. Tell me where grandmother is, otherwise I'll send this photo to Fu Nanking. Let him know you've made him a cuckold. Su Jia will suffer too. Su Shua turned pale. She hadn't expected Susai's trap yesterday. She had to beg her not to tell him. Sushi, I said coldly. Then hurry up and tell me where my grandmother is. She gritted her teeth. Zhongshan Hospital, room 311. Sushi, I smirked. Sushi, I'm leaving and won't be back. Hearing this, Sushi became anxious like an ant on a hot pan. What? He's not coming back? What about later? That evening, Fu Nanking returned to Yu Garden with Secretary Song and entered the study. Fu Nanking sat in his office chair reviewing documents. Without looking up, he asked in a low, indifferent voice, have you contacted CC? Secretary Song respectfully replied, we have, but CC hasn't given a clear response. Fu Nanking frowned, leaned back in his chair, and ordered coffee to be brought. Soon, Aunt Jo pushed open the study door and brought in coffee. Fu Nanking coldly asked, where's Susai? I haven't seen him since I returned. Why isn't he working? Aunt Jo bowed slightly. Young master, that little maid resigned. Resigned? Did he go to be his nephew's personal exclusive maid? He had warned him twice, yet he dared to ignore him like this. Fu Nanking took out his phone and found Susai's number, then dialed it. At Zhongshan Hospital, Susai was with her grandmother in the ward when her phone rang. She looked at her phone and saw Fu Nanking's call. She directly hung up and blocked his number. Since the little maid left, the trillion-dollar CEO had been in a gloomy mood. Had he fallen for that little maid? He called again, but the prompt said, sorry, the number you dialed is not in service. Just then there was a knock. He coldly uttered one word, enter. Secretary Song carefully spoke, CEO, CC says she's very busy. If you want to order the birthmark removing cream, you'll need to make an appointment with her secretary and queue up. Hearing this, Fu Naching's face immediately darkened. He dialed again, the same prompt played. Secretary Song reminded him, CEO, don't bother calling anymore. The number seems to be unreachable. He asked puzzledly why, because they might have blocked you. Fu Nanching threw his phone onto the desk. He had never been blocked before. His dark eyes instantly froze over. His handsome face was so cold it could drip ice water. Secretary Song glanced at his call history. It was the little maid. So the birthmark removing cream the CEO ordered was for his little maid, and now he couldn't even contact her. Fu Naking's eyes drifted over again, get out. Secretary Song ran like the wind. He felt like he discovered a huge secret. What juicy rich family drama. Now only he remained in the study. He turned to the floor-to-ceiling window, feeling depressed. Not sure if he was angry about CC or about Susi. The little maid, finally he realized his mood was being controlled by her. This was a bad sign. It's good that she left. They won't cross paths again. Fu Nanking left the study. Where's the young madam? Tell her to come to my room. The servant respectfully replied, young master. The young madam's mother had a fall. She went home to care for her mother. Fu Nanking's brows twitched, I see. The next day, Fu Nanking went to the company first, his whole demeanor gloomy. His expression was quite terrible. Everyone sensed their CEO's bad mood and didn't dare provoke him. Someone found Secretary Song and quietly asked who angered their big boss. Secretary Song raised his eyebrows mysteriously, probably because of a little maid. After work, Fu Nanking drove to Ipin Lan Villa. He watched Fu Ying enter the password. As he walked in after the door opened, he heard Fu Ying's giggles. Sissy, feel free to stay here. My little house is nice. I won't kick you out. Inking, thank you. Susie, I ran while looking back at Fu Ying. Soon she crashed into a muscular chest. Susie, I felt like. She had hit a rock-hard wall. Ouch! When the young girl's soft body suddenly fell into his arms, Fu Naqing's tall frame instantly stiffened. It was this little maid, why her again? Just then Fu Ying spoke, little Shu. Why are you here? Had she fallen into a den of Fu family members? Fu Ying teased, little Shu, why are you still holding my CC? Her 26-inch tiny waist, isn't it nice to hold? Susai only then realized he was still holding her. She immediately struggled, trying to break free. Fu Nancheng couldn't help holding her a moment longer. Only when she started struggling did he let go. Fu Nanking hadn't expected his little maid to end up at his villa and even crash into his arms. Fu Ying, explain what's going on. Fu Ying held Sushi's small hand. Uncle Sissy, I invited her to stay with me. Fu Nanking coldly glanced at Sushi's eye. Move out immediately. Sushi, I hadn't expected him to kick her out right away, but she had to stay here. The ghost orchid in the backyard was crucial for her. Susie quickly chased after him, reaching out her small hand to grab his sleeve. Mr. Fu, wait, could you give me some time? I'll move out as soon as I find a place. She pleaded pitifully. Mr. Fu, please, my grandmother is hospitalized. We need to pay expensive medical bills daily. I really have nowhere else to go. Fu Nanqing turned his head. His gaze fell on her crimson lips, so delicate and alluring. Suddenly, he remembered that passionate kiss they shared that day. His Adam's apple bobbed slightly, then he said, when you find a place, move out immediately. After speaking, he went upstairs. Susie finally breathed a huge sigh of relief. It seemed this man responded better to gentleness than force. The little maid and young niece were looking at a catalog together full of handsome men's abs. When the billionaire CEO found out, his face darkened. He immediately scolded, how do you explain this? Not studying yourself and corrupting my niece too. Fangirls pulled Sushi to sit on the sofa. Sissy, sit down, let me share something good with you. Can I refuse? Susie, I remembered the last time Fu Ying shared something good with her, an inappropriate magazine. At this moment, Fu Ying mysteriously pulled out a small booklet. This time it's different. This is my harem catalog, full of handsome guys' contact information. Sissy, how about this puppy-like guy? He'll stick to you all day. Susie quickly shook her head. No, what about this one? Look at those abs, his waist must be strong. Their noisy chatter had already reached Fu Nanqing's ears. He frowned, what were these two girls up to now? Neither of them noticed that at all. Imposing figure had already arrived at the doorway. He scolded in a deep voice. What are you looking at? That's so interesting. Startled by the man's voice, Susai hurriedly covered the catalog. Mr. Fu, we're doing homework. Fu Nanking stepped closer, his powerful presence casting a shadow over her. Then what's this? Fu Ying looked at Sushi with innocent eyes. Uncle, Sissy made me look at it. Sushi stared at Fu Ying with wide eyes. What a move. Fu Nanking picked up the catalog and flipped through it. It was full of various handsome men, like a large harem dazzling to the eyes. He laughed angrily. Sushi, how do you explain this? Not only are you not studying, but you're corrupting my niece. Susie was speechless. Look who's talking. Did his niece even need anyone to corrupt her? Susie knew she couldn't explain even with two mouths. Vice President, I'll study right now. She reached for her test papers. But unexpectedly, with a thud, a magazine fell out. She looked down and saw it was the inappropriate magazine Fu Ying had forced on her. Now that the magazine was open, even 100 mouths couldn't explain this away. She quickly picked up the magazine and hid it behind her. Just then she heard the man's voice, gritting his teeth in anger. So this is the homework Ms. Sue has been doing. Susie looked at him with watery eyes, trying to explain, Vice President, why are you so angry? Is it illegal to look at handsome men? What era are we in? Can't we accept some sex education? Watching the girl's glib tongue, Fu Nanking's handsome face twisted. Keep talking and see if I don't shut that mouth of yours. Fu Ying, who was eavesdropping, brightened up. She immediately chimed in. Shut her mouth, uncle, I suspect you're flirting. Susai nervously covered her mouth, obediently apologizing. Vice President, we were wrong, we won't dare do it again. Fu Nanking's face darkened. He remained silent. If this little maid dared to challenge his bottom line again, she would face the consequences. He snorted coldly and left. Once he left, Fu Ying immediately tried to appease Sissy. I'm sorry, I couldn't let uncle find out. He would definitely tell my parents. Susai indicated their friendship boat had capsized. She packed up her books to leave. Fu Ying quickly spoke up. How about this? Sissy, what do you think of my uncle? I can get you his abs photos. Susai exploded, looking at Fu Ying in horror. She couldn't believe such terrible thoughts existed in her head. Don't harm me, I don't want that. With that, Susai ran away. Fu Ying nodded knowingly. Susai must be interested in her uncle. She must arrange those abs photos. The next day, Susai woke up early and went to the villa's backyard. She had turned it into a greenhouse. This was why she wanted to stay here. The feng shui was good, it could nurture her treasures. She walked to the ghost orchid. After days of careful nurturing, the ghostly white orchid would soon bloom. Then she would grind it into an ointment to help remove Fu and Jiang's birthmark. Just then, her phone rang in her pocket. It was Zhongshan Hospital calling. Miss Su, your grandmother is awake. She excitedly rushed to the hospital. In the ward, Su Si hugged her grandmother. Grandma, you're finally awake. I missed you so much. Grandmother weakly opened her eyes to look at Susie I, then raised her hand to pat her head lovingly. My Cece is here. Where's your jade pendant? Susie I remembered the pendant wasn't with her. Grandma, the pendant is at the Su family home. Grandmother weakly closed her eyes. Good child, don't lose the pendant. Go get it back quickly. Susie I nodded. Okay, Grandma, wait for me. I'll be right back. She immediately went to the Su family home and returned to her room to get the pendant. But the pendant was nowhere to be found. Her pendant had been right here. Unless someone took it, Su Shwe, who had fled home, saw Susie I and said surprisingly, Susie I, why are you back? Susie looked at her with cold eyes. I'm here for my pendant. Hearing the words jade pendant, Suchwa's expression changed dramatically. She questioned, did you take my pendant? Suchwa's eyes were full of guilt. Susik glared at her voice ice cold. Give me back my pendant. The tall, handsome vice president heard his wife say she didn't remember that night's events. His eyes instantly darkened. He teased, should I help you remember well tonight? Sushwi righteously said, Susai, why come to me if you lost your things? You say I took your pendant, do you have proof? Susai I strode forward, then I'll search your room. Suchwi immediately blocked Susai, you dare? Susai reached out and forcefully pushed her aside. Get lost, Suchwa's nose hit the wall directly. Susie I saw his cowardly appearance and instantly laughed. He discovered his nose was bleeding, it hurt terribly. He screamed hysterically, my nose, someone come quickly. Just then, Sushwei, covering her nose, received a call from Fu Nanqing. I've sent the driver to pick you up. We need to go to the Fu family. My mother wants to meet you. Her nose was now crooked. How could she meet anyone? Did she want everyone to know she had plastic surgery? Sushwi wanted to make excuses, but the other end hung up after 2 beeps. What should she do now? Sushwi immediately turned to Susai. Susai, go meet my mother-in-law in my place. She remained expressionless and spat out 2 words. You're crazy to want me as you're standing. No way, hearing these words, Su Shwe's face changed dramatically. If you don't go, we'll both go down. I'll tell Fu Nanqing everything. What do you think he'll do when he knows the truth? Will he strangle you? Susi's steps faltered. Fu Nanqing had already done that. The terrifying feeling of suffocation seemed to linger. Susie closed her eyes and said fine. She arrived at the Fu family home. Fu Nanqing was already waiting, his handsome brow furrowed with cold impatience. Why are you so late? Susai replied softly. It's my first time meeting mother-in-law. I was nervous and spent extra time getting ready. Fu Nanqing looked her up and down. She seemed like a different person today. Long hair tucked behind snow-white ears, dewy skin, delicate nose wings, and rouge-red lips. Fu Nanqing's voice softened, no makeup today. Susai shook her head obediently. Number, should I put some on? Fu Nanqing spoke in a deep voice. No need. My mother has waited long enough. Let's go in. He extended his large hand. My mother keeps pushing me to marry and have children. When we're with her, we need to act like a loving couple. Susai immediately took his hand. Fu Nanqing held it and let her inside. Just as they entered the living room, they heard Mrs. Fu's anxious voice. Fu Nanqing went to get my daughter-in-law. Why aren't they back yet? Everyone watched the doors. Don't let him find an excuse to slip away again. Mrs. Fu turned and saw the delicate figure behind Fu Nanqing. She immediately laughed heartily. You're finally back. Mom has been waiting for so long. This is my daughter-in-law, Susai sweetly called her mom. Mrs. Fu responded immediately, very satisfied with her daughter-in-law. Good, good, learn well, Mom has heard all about you. Then she whispered, you're the one who caught my son, that flower thief, right? He had no experience. Mom wants to ask quietly, how was that night? Susie's small face instantly turned bright red. That night, deliberately buried deep in her memories, suddenly surfaced. She could only say, I don't remember anything. Mrs. Fu laughed heartily. Shweshwi, tonight our family will have dinner together. You can try Mom's cooking. Susie smiled softly. Good, I'll help you in the kitchens. In the kitchen, Fu Nanqing saw Susie on tiptoes, unable to reach the dumpling wrappers on the cabinet. He walked over, raised his long arm, and easily reached past her. He got the dumpling wrappers. Susie softly said thank you. But Fu Nanqing didn't give her the wrappers. He trapped her in his embrace, then lowered his tall, straight back, bringing his handsome face close to hers. He asked in a low voice that night, do you really not remember anything? Saucy's blush instantly spread to her snow-white earlobes, her bright eyes flickering with scattered light. Fu Nanqing let out a casual, hoarse laugh from his throat. He hadn't expected her to be so cute. He couldn't help teasing her. Should I help you remember properly tonight? The tall, handsome vice president hated the little maid and had a messy private life. She decided to play along and actively kissed him. Now they were both guilty. Let them fall together. Mrs. Fu walked over. Shweshwa can't reach something. Let me get it for you. When she saw her son holding his daughter-in-law in his arms, she exclaimed, "Oh," and turned to leave. Sorry to interrupt, carry on. Susie wished she could dig a hole and hide. She tried to slip away to the left, but when she went left, he went left. When she went right, he went right. His tall frame mischievously blocked her way. Susie dipped her hand in water and splashed it directly on his handsome face. That's for blocking me. Fu Nanking stepped back and she quickly ran away. Watching her delicate figure retreat, Fu Nanking wiped the water from his face, then let out a pleased laugh. The family of 3 ate dumplings. Mrs. Fussmold's son Shweshwe, I've arranged a room upstairs for you, get some rest early. Sushi glanced at Fu Nanching. What, she had to sleep with him again, remembering their second night sleeping together, how he had kissed her deeply. She blushed furiously. Fu Nanching went to the bedroom, took off his coat, and heard Sushi's phone ping. He couldn't help but look. The message was from Fu Yu. His eyes darkened. Could Fu Yu be in contact with Sushi? Just then Sushi walked out of the bathroom. Fu Nanching turned to look at her. Fu Yu messaged you. Why would he messaged you? Susai felt Fu Yu would be the death of her someday. She tried to stay calm as she took her phone. Oh, isn't he interested in that little maid? He wanted to ask me more about Susai. I think they make a good match. Fu Nanching's deep eyes showed no emotion. I don't think they match. Fu Yu is pure-hearted. Susai isn't good enough for him. She's not good enough for Fu Yu, so this was why he always opposed their relationship. I don't see how Susai has offended you. Why do you have such a strong opinion of her? Fu Nanching walked forward, looked at her small face, pinched it, and said a few words. She has a messy private life. Susai clenched her teeth. He thought Sushua was pure and she was dirty, right? Susai was furious. She suddenly stood on tiptoe and kissed his thin lips. In her mind, she thought now he was dirty too. Let them all be dirty together. Fu Nanking's tall, straight body stiffened. His hand reached out and held her slender waist. A few minutes later, Fu Nanking stared at her with dark, heated eyes. Don't rush, I haven't showered yet, Mrs. Fu. Susii heard her own heartbeat accelerating again. She had been defiant, but she wasn't Mrs. Fu. Susii pushed him away. Go take your shower first. Fu Nanking looked at her sensual figure. His Adam's apple bobbed. He went into the bathroom to shower. She got into bed and opened her phone. When she saw Fu Yu's text message, her heart skipped a beat. Clown girl, go on a date with me tomorrow. What date? She was still here being a substitute. Susai quickly replied, I'm busy tomorrow. Fu Yu sent another message. Did you forget our agreement? If you don't come tomorrow, I can't keep your secret anymore. Susai turned off her phone and buried herself under the blanket. Soon the blanket was pulled away. The freshly showered man got into bed. What are you doing buried under there? You'll suffocate. She wasn't afraid of suffocating, but felt she was being played to death. Sushi quickly hugged his waist and said coquettishly, I have something to do tomorrow. I can't accompany you and Mom. Seeing her so docile, his voice was very gentle. My mom hopes we'll stay for 2 days. What are you doing tomorrow? Going on a date with your nephew. Could she tell him that? Sushi raised her small face to look at him. Isn't my mom feeling unwell? I want to go back to keep her company tomorrow. Please. Husband. She looked down at the woman in his arms. Not giving in, wasn't she supposed to respond to gentleness, not force, just act pitiful and act cute? That should work. Susie trembled, moved her small face closer and kissed him. Husband, please just agree with me. Fu Nanking couldn't resist such temptation. He reached out and lifted her directly onto his body. Fu Nanking's deep, heated gaze fixed on her face. His voice hoarse, he asked, Mrs. Fu forgot about that day? No problem, we can recreate it. The tall, handsome vice president was doing intimate things with his wife. Unexpectedly, the door opened, instantly ruining the moment. Susie's face was bright red. She was so embarrassed. Funanching raised his eyebrows. That night you climbed on top of me. Undid my belt. Susie quickly covered his mouth with both hands. So embarrassing, stopped talking. Her hands were soft and fragrant. Fu Nanking looked at her. Then he kissed her palm. Sushi quickly withdrew her hands in fright. What was he doing? Kissing her hands. The next second, Fu Nanking raised his upper body and kissed her red lips. Sushi's mind went blank, unable to think. Her small hands pressed against his muscular chest, trying to push him away. Fu Nanking opened his eyes, staring at her with crimson eyes, showing slight dissatisfaction. She wouldn't let him kiss her. This is a marital duty, Mrs. Fu. While she was at a loss, the door suddenly opened. Mrs. Fu fell right in. Apparently, she had been eavesdropping outside the door. Fu Nanching quickly lifted Su's CI off himself, pulled up the blanket, and held her protectively in his arms. He looked darkly at Mrs. Fu. Mrs. Fu scrambled up from the floor, quickly covering her eyes. Carry on, I didn't see anything and I absolutely won't tell anyone. After this incident, the romantic mood was gone. Susie ran to the bathroom. I need to use the bathroom first, watching her flee in panic. Fu Nanking fell back dejectedly. He covered his eyes with his hand, his Adam's apple bobbing. The next day, as Fu Nanking drove away, he asked, "Did you tell Mom about going back to the Su family?" Susie nodded. "Thank you for driving me, husband." Half an hour later, the car stopped at the Su family's entrance. Susie reached for the seatbelt. "Husband, I'm getting off." Fu Nanking grabbed her directly. "Mrs. Fu, are you coming home tonight?" Susie looked up at him. "What for?" His tall, imposing figure quickly leaned over. "To continue what we didn't finish last night. You didn't even open your mouth last night." Last night's intimate scene instantly flashed in her mind. Susai opened the passenger door and ran away quickly. "We'll talk later, bye-bye." Fu Nanking watched her departing figure, his thin lips curving in pleasure. Then he took out his phone and called Secretary Song. "By the polar star, send it to the Su family." After running far away, Sue's CI covered her small face with her hands. Her face was really hot. Every time Funanching teased her, she would blush, her heart would race, her body would go weak, out of control. She knew this wasn't right. She added a scar on her face, changed clothes, then met up with Fuyu. Fuyu arrived in a flashy Ferrari. He was holding a large bouquet of red roses. "Clown girl, these flowers are for you." Susai quickly refused. "Young Master Fu, there's no need." Fuyu directly pushed the roses into Susai's arms. "It's our first date today." "Take them," he said, putting his arm around her shoulders. "Let's go watch a movie first." Susai stiffened at his touch. She found Fuyu's contact made her extremely uncomfortable. Just then, a sharp car horn sounded. A car stopped nearby. Funaking's handsome, cold face appeared in view. Fuyu greeted him enthusiastically. "What a coincidence, uncle." Susai's heart jumped, running into him here. Why was he everywhere? Funanking's deep gaze swept over them condescendingly. With the dignity of a mature elder mixed with an authority figure's presence, he said, "It's not weakened. Is it? Instead of going to class, you're sneaking out for dates." Being caught on their first date by his uncle, Fuyu was speechless. Susie felt extremely awkward. She had always disliked him and he probably thought it was her fault again. "Get back to class." After dropping these words, Fu Nanking drove away. Fuyu was very afraid of his uncle and naturally didn't dare disobey his orders. With a dejected face, "Clown girl, our date is ruined today. But I'll drive you back to school anyway." Susie, I suddenly felt that running into Fu Nanking wasn't such a bad thing. At least he had saved her from having to go on the date. The little maid secretly looked at the billionaire CEO's abs photos, unexpectedly caught in the act. Now she's in trouble. He's demanding she take off her clothes. Su Chengrong slapped her hard and berated her harshly. "Useless, why haven't you gone into Fu Nanking's bed yet? Look at yourself now, what chances will you have in the future?" Su Shue trembled in fear, not daring to say a word. At this moment, Uncle Su Jun arrived with his wife and their daughter Su Air. "I've come at a bad time," catching second brother disciplining his daughter. He went over to help her up, sarcastically saying, "Second brother, CC perfume returning your shipment isn't Xiao Shui's fault. You can't take it out on the child," and added fuel to the fire. "Yes, second brother, if you hit her like this, how will Shu find a boyfriend? Our Warner is now hot in the supermodel circle. Why don't we let her make some introductions?" Su Schwag glared at them through gritted teeth. "Save your fake sympathy, I already have a boyfriend." Su Air smiled contemptuously. "Oh, Sister Shu, so your face is surgically enhanced. No wonder second uncle is angry. Rich young masters don't like plastic surgery faces nowadays." Sushui couldn't hold back anymore. "Who are you to be so sarcastic? Do you know who my boyfriend is?" Just as she was about to reveal it, Su Changran stopped her. He quietly reminded her that the Fu family didn't want to go public yet and she hadn't secured her position as Mrs. Fu. "Don't cause trouble for me." Su Air sneered. "Sister, you don't need to put on airs. We're all family." Just then a maid rushed in. "Master, second miss. Someone just delivered a gift for second Mississippi." Everyone turned to look simultaneously. When the package was opened, the gift was revealed. My God, it's the priceless polar star. Sushua was stunned. She hadn't expected anyone to send her the polar star. It must be from Food Natching. There's no one else. What exactly did Sushua do last night? Sushua pushed her aside with her body. "This is what my boyfriend bought and sent me earlier. I didn't expect it to arrive today." She picked up the polar star to show off. "Sister Wanner is a supermodel. You must have worn many precious jewels before. Has anyone ever given you a polar star?" Su Jun's face immediately darkened. "Second brother Shu Eshua, you've never mentioned this boyfriend before. We must have been remiss." Changran looked smug. "He's an important figure. He'll come to my birthday party in a few days. You'll meet him then," and put on a fake smile. Since Shashua already has a boyfriend, we won't make any introductions. We'll look forward to second brother's birthday party to meet this important figure. Then they tactfully left. Second brother will take our leave. Once outside, they showed their true colors. Bah, what important figure? Who knows if that polar star is even real? Let's wait for the show at second brother's birthday party. Su Changran praised her. Well done. At my birthday party in a few days, you must get Food Nanching to come. It'll be perfect to announce your relationship then. Su Xuan audit, I know, she said before turning back to her room. She was furious, violently throwing things. What methods did Susai use to seduce him? At this point, she must seize this opportunity to make their relationship public. Meanwhile in the villa, Susai's phone made a ding-dong sound. She yawned and picked up her phone to check. What she saw almost scared her soul away. It was a message from Fuanin. Zizzy, don't be mad at me. Look at my uncle's abs photo, you like him right? Why don't you become my aunt? She opened the image. Fu Nanking's abs photo was clearly displayed before her eyes. His body was absolutely perfect, any woman would like it. Sushi's face turned red looking at it. Just then a cold voice spoke. Haven't seen enough? Sushi I turned around in shock. She saw his sharp eyes suddenly narrow, looking terrifyingly fierce. Fu Nanking strode over, you like me and want to be the aunt? Sus I wanted to explain, but thinking about it she gave up. He hated her so much, no explanation would matter. Fu Nanching let out a cold snort from his throat, caught in the act and still trying to deny it. Susai took out her phone and deleted the photo right in front of him. His handsome face darkened with storm clouds. You think deleting the photo ends it? Susie, I didn't want to deal with it. You're still wearing pants, what's the big deal? Implying she was a bit disappointed, wanting to see him completely exposed. Fu Nanking had never seen such a shameless woman. His long, powerful fingers firmly gripped her delicate chin. Susie, was I not clear enough last time? I have no interest in you. I have a wife, I like her, and I have absolutely no intention of cheating. Sushi's heart ached painfully. He actually truly liked Sushui. Ah, I understand, Mr. Fu, this won't happen again. Fu Nanking stared at her coldly. You don't think you're getting off that easily, do you? Sushi, I looked at him with clear, bright eyes. Then what do you want? He spoke coldly. Take off your clothes. The tall, handsome vice president apparently had special preferences, demanding the little maid to strip. Sue's eyes shouted loudly, telling him it was impossible. Fu Nanking pressed on her fragrant shoulders, trapping her there, his handsome features darkening. Want me to do it myself? His large hand reached for her cardigan, forcefully pulling it down. Her fair shoulder straps were exposed. Spaghetti straps with shorts, the typical innocent girl's outfit. Fu Nanking meant to humiliate her, but seeing this sight, his pupils contracted sharply from the stimulation. Susai angrily raised her hand and slapped his handsome face hard. His eyes were now covered with a terrifying fury. Susai, are you tired of living? Susai glared at him with reddened eyes. You started it first, let me go. His gaze fell on her shoulder straps. We're not done yet. In those photos earlier, I wasn't like this. Let's be fair, Susai had already sensed his intention. She struggled desperately. Fu Nanking raised his hand, his fingers slowly approaching. She lunged forward forcefully, standing on tiptoes to bite his shoulder. Fu Nanking quickly pressed her back against the wall. She raised her eyes, looking at him defiantly. Do you want to vent your anger, or do you want to see me? Fu Nanching's sword-like eyebrows furrowed at these words. She moved close to his face like a little demon. You say you hate me, but look at yourself now. Is this how you treat every woman who gets close to you? Does Mrs. Fu know about this? Fu Nanching only then realized that his tall, straight body was pressing against her. A mature man in a suit pressing an innocent, delicate girl against the wall. She looked barely 18. The scene was too ambiguous. Realizing how forbidden this was, Fu Nanking instantly threw her aside. I picked up her cardigan from the floor and quickly wrapped it around herself. Vice President, are you going to strip me or not? If not, I'm going upstairs. Fu Nanking's heart raced, his fierce eyes looking at her. No need, this is just a warning. If there's a next time, I won't let you off so easily. Dropping these words, he turned and left cold-heartedly. His handsome brows furrowed as he touched his bitten shoulder. Why was he always affected by her? At this moment, Dr. Su Shui sent him a text message. Honey, I received the Dior jewelry. I love it, thinking of Su Shui's soft whispers in his arms last night. Those sweet honey calls, Fu Nanching's furrowed brows relaxed. He replied, glad you like it. Sushui sent another message, honey, I have good news. My period is over. The last sentence was full of suggestive meaning. Fu Nanching's lips curled up, I'm looking forward to it. The next day, Sushi received a call from Sushui. Sushi continued to accompany my husband tonight. I told him my period is over, don't give yourself away. A cold smile appeared in Sushi's bright eyes. Fine, just you wait. After saying that, she hung up the phone directly. Sushwa, should I call you naive or stupid? Food Nanching finished work and drove from the company back to the food residence. Learning that Su Shui hadn't returned, he quickly sent a message, "Why aren't you back yet?" At that moment, Su Shui, who was at the Su residence, was startled by this message. She immediately dialed Su Si's phone number but couldn't get through. Su Si had agreed so well, why hadn't she gone back? She frantically made several more calls but still couldn't get through. Half an hour passed and Su Shui became as anxious as an ant on a hot pot. Then the phone finally connected. She questioned angrily, "Susi, what are you doing? Why did you suddenly turn off your phone? Do you know how long my husband has been waiting?" Susi replied calmly, "Where's my jade pendant?" "Give me the jade pendant. What just happened was to let you know that I'm in control of this game. If you don't give me the jade pendant, I'm not going anywhere." Sushua felt cornered and was furious. "I'll give you the jade pendant tomorrow, but tonight you must go to food natching. If we're discovered, we'll both go down together." Sushua didn't want to go anymore, but she had no choice. She could only nod, "Fine, I'll go, but this is the last time." She hung up after saying that. Tonight would be her last time as a substitute. This was her last time as a substitute, also the last time sleeping with the billionaire CEO. Mrs. Fu saw Sushua arrive and immediately went to greet her. "Shua, you're back. Mom will have someone heat up food for you." She smiled and waved her hand. "No need, Mom, I've eaten," Mrs. Fu noticed. Her wrist was bare. Mrs. Fu immediately took out an emerald jade bracelet and put it on Sushi's delicate wrist. Shua, this is from Mom. This jade bracelet is clearly a family heirloom, very precious." Sushi, I felt guilty, feeling like a fraud deceiving Mrs. Fu's feelings. "Mom, I can't accept this." Mrs. Fu smiled, "Take it, Shua. It was meant for my daughter-in-law anyway, you're the most suitable. This is your home now, no one can bully you." Susai felt warmth in her heart. Having Mrs. Fu as a mother-in-law was wonderful. For the first time, she envied Sushua. Susai accepted it for now, planning to return it to Mrs. Fu when she had the chance. She took out a sachet. "Mom, I made this myself. It has some spices in it. It's not worth much, but please keep it with you." Mrs. Fu took the sachet and immediately smelled a refreshing fragrance. She loved it. "It's beautiful, Shua. This gift is so thoughtful." Just then, steady footsteps sounded. Fu Nanking arrived. He looked at her and said, "You're back." Susi nodded with an meh. Mrs. Fu urged, "You two go rest then. I'm going to bed too." Fu Nanking held Susie's small hand and led her back to their room. Back in the room, Fu Nanking felt her hand was cold. "Why are your hands so cold?" Before he could finish, Susie pulled her hand back and removed the jade bracelet from her wrist. She handed it to Fu Nanking. Fu Nanking looked at the bracelet, then his gaze fell on her small face. He asked softly, "Don't you like it?" "I don't." Seeing he didn't reach out to take it, Susai placed the jade bracelet on the bedside table. Things that weren't hers, she wouldn't keep. Susai turned and entered the bathroom. "I'll take a shower first." Fu Naching's handsome brow furrowed slightly. He didn't understand why she was so cold towards him tonight. Soon, Susai came out after taking a shower. She lifted the blanket and laid down beside him but kept her distance. Fu Nanching extended his arm, asking her to come closer. Susai moved slightly, settling into his embrace. The girl closed her eyes, her long eyelashes falling like butterfly wings, quiet and beautiful. Fu Nanching reached out to touch her face. "What's wrong today?" Susai turned her face away, avoiding his hand. Fu Nanching's gaze fell on her tempting red lips. He leaned in to kiss her and she didn't resist. However, she didn't reciprocate either, just passively accepting it. Fu Nanching pressed half his body over her. Seeing her reluctance, he propped himself up beside her, his low voice carrying a hint of indulgence. "Mrs. Fu, open your mouth." Susi opened her eyes and refused. "No." Fu Nanking's gaze burned like magma. He laughed. "No, then why did you accept my diamond? Why did you send me flirtatious messages?" It was Su Shwe who had accepted his diamond and sent those flirtatious messages. "Susi," I blinked at him. "I was just teasing you." "Is that not allowed?" She turned away, showing her delicate back to him. "I'm really tired today." Fu Nanching had no choice but to lie back down, irritably scratching his head. When Susai fell asleep, Fu Nanching kept staring at her. He turned this heartless little thing back towards him, pulling her into his embrace. His movements suddenly froze. Through her collar, he saw her beautiful collarbone, and below the left collarbone there was a three-petaled peach blossom birthmark. He remembered the night he returned to the country when she appeared in his room. He had seen that three-petaled peach blossom then. It seemed his previous worries were unnecessary. Fu Nanching fell asleep holding her. The next morning, Fu Nanching woke up to find the bed empty beside him. Susi was already gone. Why did she always get up so early? Just then is phoning. Sushwa had sent a message, "Honey, did you sleep well last night?" Fu Nashin's lips curved as he replied with two words. "Very well." Sushwa sent another message, "Honey, I have something to tell you. Tomorrow I'm holding my father's birthday party. Can you come?" Fu Nashin raised an eyebrow and replied, "Sure." The little maid went to the hotel's hot dance floor by herself, attracting many men. Unexpectedly, the billionaire CEO kept staring at her. His face showed a cold chill. He was instantly jealous, wanting to possess her completely. Sushi, I received a call from Sushui, who said the jade pendant wasn't with her. 2 years ago, that jade pendant had entered the Fu family with her dowry. They needed to search the Fu house. Sushi, I was speechless. The Fu house was huge. How could she search for her jade pendant? How it got to the Fu house?